Today's movie is Daughters of Darkness from 1971. It was directed by Harry Kümel and it stars John Karlen and Delphine Seyrig. Daughters of Darkness is a really interesting film in many ways. The plot centers around a newlywed couple, Stefan and Valerie, who arrive at a totally empty seaside hotel in the middle of winter. There's no one around at all in the hotel. It's completely empty until the arrival of the beautiful Countess Elizabeth Bathory and her secretary Ilona. Now, I'm not giving away any spoilers to tell you that Countess Elizabeth Bathory is a vampire. The film makes that very clear from her first arrival. But what we don't know is what she and Ilona have in mind for Stefan and Valerie. They clearly have an agenda, but what is it? What's very intriguing about Daughters of Darkness is that for a horror film, it has very little blood and only 3 killings depicted on screen. And those killings are actually accidental. So where does the horror in the film come from? Because it is a very creepy and disturbing film, despite the lack of gore. Harry Kümel makes a really interesting choice in the film, and that is that there's not only one predator in the film, but 2. And the second predator is actually Stefan. There's something off about Stefan from the first. He's very cold, he's mean to Valerie, and it soon becomes clear that he is actually a sadist who is very excited by descriptions of murders in the newspaper. Anything like that makes him very aroused. So what we wonder is, why has Stefan brought Valerie to this empty seaside hotel? What does he actually have in mind for her? It becomes clear during the film that he has some very dark secrets indeed. We don't learn all of what they are. We only get a sense of some of them. And I think that's even more disturbing. And a lot of the horror in the film is Valerie's horror at learning that she's married a man she knows nothing about and that he is a raging sadist. The film is also very noticeable for its great visual style. It has a stunning look to it that's very distinctive, a sort of desaturated color palette. But the 3 colors that the director really emphasizes throughout the film are red, black, and white. And the characters are all variously wearing these colors at most points in the film. It's very stylish, and it has a sort of stylized, slightly dreamlike quality to it. But what makes Daughters of Darkness so exceptional, apart from all these other interesting qualities it has, is the central performance of Delphine Seyrig as Countess Elizabeth Bathory. It is an extraordinary performance. She exudes this luminous, otherworldly beauty and poise and this icy, sort of deadly charm. She's perhaps one of cinema's most compelling and unusual vampires. She has the look of a 1930s film star and is just so compelling to watch during the whole movie. She really runs away with the whole film. It's all about her. Now, you might also be familiar with the film The Hunger by Tony Scott, the great 80s vampire film starring Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie. I was also a massive fan of this movie, and I thought it was very original and stylish and beautiful until I saw Daughters of Darkness and realized how much Tony Scott had borrowed from Daughters of Darkness to make The Hunger the film it was. He goes so far as to actually use or copy even shots from the film and lines of dialogue from the film. But I think if you see Daughters of Darkness, you won't ever look at The Hunger in quite the same way again. Not that it's still not a wonderful film in its own right, but seeing Daughters of Darkness, you realise how incredibly influential it was. So to sum up, I would say Daughters of Darkness is a remarkably stylish and original film that keeps you guessing with a lot of really fascinating unanswered questions and unresolved issues that will keep you thinking about it long after you've finished watching it. see it for nothing else than Delphine Seyrig's incredible performance, which is hard to even describe. It's that amazing. But highly recommended. As erotic lesbian vampire movies go, it's up there with the best of them. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time. Bye.